Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the End of the Celts podcast. I hope everyone's well who's listening. This is our reaction video to the Champions League draw where we saw Celtic drawn against Danish side FC Midtjylland. They finished runners-up in the Danish Superliga behind Brøndby by 1 point this year, so they're in the Champions League qualifier rounds just like ourselves. Last year, Midtjylland were in Champions League proper, they got into the group stages and earned some respectable results, but we'll get into that shortly. We thought today again we were going to be joined by my co-host John, but things come up last minute. That happens. But we're left with our show regular Francis, the deadly duo, Stephen and Francis. How are you, Francis?
Hi, not bad, Stephen. How are you doing yourself?
I'm fine, mate. It's got a wee glass of water here. My throat's dry, but we'll get stuck in. So,
sound.
So we've seen today that the Champions League qualifier second round got drawn out. There was teams we could have got was Galatasaray, Rapid Vienna, and the Danish side FC Midtjylland, and we drew FC Midtjylland in the second round qualifier. Many Celtic fans, they believe this is the easier of the three ties that we could have got. Galatasaray have Falcao, Rapid Vienna have good European pedigree. But before we go on to types of things that FC Midtjylland have done recently in Europe, I did allude to it there at the start of the show. They were in the Champions League proper last year with Liverpool, Atlanta, teams like that, and they got some good results. But Francis, how are you feeling towards this draw? Obviously, we could have got Galatasaray, teams like that. Is this a favourable draw in Celtic's way, do you think?
It is a favourable draw in the sense that out of the 8 teams, I think if you got to pick one, you'd pick Midtjylland, but we can't get away from the fact that we're in the Champions route, so we've obviously drawn the Danish champions. I think I would argue maybe the Danish league's maybe slightly better than our league, but maybe not greatly better. But yeah, I think considering the draw, I would be happy. We don't want to go Galatasaray. That's just going over there would be absolutely horrendous. An absolutely horrendous tie to get. Then Rapid Vienna, we all know that a really good team. They seem to always be in either the Champions League or at least go deep in the Europa League. So I think we've got a favourable draw if you can class getting a favourable draw in the Champions route.
Yeah, as we all know, we didn't finish champions this season, and we're in that crappy run where you can get anybody. I think the next round, if we go through, is a wee bit more daunting in terms of the teams we can face, but we don't want to jump the gun. We'll speak about the tie we'll have to face. And Postecoglou, Francis, is coming in at a tough time, and you look at, I know Midtjylland isn't, they were formed in 1989, and they're not a team within Europe who have this massive European pedigree. As you said, at Galatasaray, Vienna, we all know them teams. Our famous left back, Bolingoli, we got him from Rapid Vienna. We're very familiar with them. But if you look at Midtjylland recently, they've been in the Champions League last year in the group stages. They earned draws against Atalanta. They drew against Liverpool as well. And there was no heavy defeats. Ajax was also in there. But it does points towards that they're a well-oiled machine. And it worries me a bit, because obviously they have their stall in order. Do you know what I mean? They have a team, they have a squad where Celtic are a bit decimated. We just recently confirmed the signing of Liam Shaw, but again, that doesn't get your juices flowing, really, does it? It's like a project player coming in. Is there any concerns about facing a team like Midtjylland? I know we always see when we're going through these rounds, particularly against Astana, teams like that, there can be potential banana skins, but Midtjylland, I think, is maybe a step up from that. I don't know where you stand on that.
Oh yeah, I'd agree they're a step. I don't believe that you could class them as a banana skin, because we all know they're a decent enough team. And like you said, they're well organised. And you just need to look at the league history last season. It's just a wee quick search. Even this season, last season, it's the second top goal scorers in the league, second best defence in the league and stuff. So they do seem organised. So yes, and going back to sort of us in previous years, we tend to gamble going into these sort of fixtures. I think William actually touched on a previous podcast where it's you maybe not make a signing for the first one, then you'll maybe, if you get through a round, you'll go and get that guy you were thinking about buying for the previous round, and it's sort of feel like you're just delaying it just in case you don't actually get through, and you're scared to maybe spend that 3-4 million maybe or it would be to get that player. Doesn't get you through the Champions League round, and you're going, well, I can't bank on that money now. And it's always been Celtic's way of recent years to, well, I say of recent, I was going to say they don't normally speculate to accumulate, but then you obviously look at the last summer's transfer window without going too deep into that. They did spend there, but I think history does tell you in these fixtures that we do like to gamble going through them.
Yeah, I mean, that for me, the way you said that, it just brings back the vibes of Beaton in centre half, doesn't it? And you're kind of gambling, as you said, with 30 or 40 million pound of riches if you reach the Champions League group stages.
Yeah.
I mean, the only saving grace if we get through this round, the second qualifying round against Midtjylland, is that we're guaranteed a Europa League a Europa League group play. So we'll have European football regardless if we get through this round. But I get what you're saying. If we go back to the Midtjylland form last season, they started in the second qualifying round, much like now. They beat Ludogorets of Bulgaria 1-0, Young Boys of Switzerland 3-0, and our old foes, Slavia Prague, who pumped us 4-1 home and away, one of which was a team full of reserves. They pumped, funny enough, Midtjylland pumped them 4-1. So there must be a bit about them. And I've looked at their squad and I've looked on Twitter, and there's a few guys and all who are a bit knowledgeable about the Danish league. And there's players like Sisto, he played for Celta Vigo in the Spanish league. A Brazilian guy called Evander, there's lots of hype about him. I mean, I remember when he played in the game against Rangers, and he was fantastic, but ultimately Midtjylland got put out in that game, but we'll come on to that. That's 2 years ago now. They've got a few Swedish internationals playing in the Euros at the minute, so they definitely have pedigree. Where do you think, if we're good, I mean, it's the tie itself isn't being played. I think Celtic are home first. I did the 20th or 21st of July. Obviously, dates and TV times have to be confirmed, but where do you think Celtic should focus on now in trying to strengthen at least one area of the pitch?
It's got to be up front. Well, I'd say it's got to be. I would say up front. I'd say the striker, because I mean, I think we'd be more surprised if Edward is there next season, and then if not, then there's also the question marks over Ayeti. I'm similar to William, and probably the rest is that we believe there is a player in there. It's maybe just not getting the chance. A confidence thing. He's not really done it after it. He had a good start, and then there's still question marks over Griffiths. Everything seems to point that he's staying, but I really don't know. So, and then you've got Bio coming back, so you could argue that you don't need to go for it. But I think if Edward goes, you're looking for a striker. Then after that, I think we need to concentrate on defence, if you like, and the wider positions. So yeah, it's like we've said a lot. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's conjecture, as Ross would say, isn't it? It's all conjecture. But I mean, Postecoglou's coming into, a team. I mean, he hasn't even touched down in Glasgow yet. I know Stephen Welsh did a press conference for Celtic today saying that he's excited to work under this new manager. But again, then for the footballers at the moment at Celtic aren't going to come out and say, look, this guy, we don't. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of have to take that with a pinch of salt. I mean, Stephen Welsh also came out before that and said he was looking forward to working with Eddie Howe. So you don't know what's going on in the camp, and he's coming in there, it's all disjointed, and players want the way. Ayers probably said he wants to leave. Edward, I mean, he's quiet, he keeps himself to himself, but we all know he's trying to angle for a move. And if obviously the transfer rumours are led to be correct, he's going to Leicester for about 15 million, which is a shambles really in terms of profit gain. But a player at Midtjylland, which caused quite a divide this morning in the group chat, and a kind of an argument from my point of view. I'm not a morning person, you all know that, so I kind of bit at everything. Is Eric Shiachenko. People will know him obviously being part of the Invincible Celtic squad. He was a part of Ronnie Dadia's teams. He won 2 league titles, I think, wasn't it? Two 2 league titles. And we are linked with a move from him. I said this to you guys literally not so long ago. I can only potentially see that happening if Celtic believe that Ayer's going and they're looking for a quick fix. I don't see the point of bringing back Shiachenko. I liked him when he was there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe came across to them as Shiachenko hater, but I'm not. Don't worry about that. But I just don't believe that Celtic should be looking at targets from 4 or 5 years ago. I think they should be having targets looking forward to the future. I mean, a guy in the Scottish League, Porteous, he's a centre back with potential. I know he's a bit hot-headed at times, but again, he's there. I mean, £1 to £2 million might get him, and you don't know what you're going to pay for Shiachenko. But what do you think, Francis? Obviously, about him coming back. I know yourself. I mean, most of the group, our podcast group, are in favour, maybe apart from me, so I'm used to that. But tell me why, or give me a positive, what he would bring if he came back to Celtic.
I think the positive, he knows the club, he knows what it means to play for the club, he knows how big the club is, expectations and all that. So in that sense, it should seem like a seamless transition on coming back and being able to fit in. Also, like we touched on, the likelihood is it's a good chance Ayer's going to be leaving. Still don't know when Julian's actually going to make a return. Beaton, like we can't just keep relying on Beaton to play centre half. I mean, I don't know. His contract, I believe, is out, so I don't even know if he's got to be getting rid. So for me, I liked him first time round as well. I thought he was a really good player. A wee bit no nonsense. Wasn't the tallest, but he certainly had a good leap on him. He was strong. I just think his problem came with Brendan Rodgers. It wasn't really necessarily a ball playing centre half, so it didn't really suit Brendan Rodgers to an extent. But I think just as a no nonsense defender, it kind of suits what we need. But I mean, we argued that for Shane Duffy, but that just fell flat on its face. But I think it just looking at, I think the pros totally outweigh the con. I appreciate obviously could come back and the emotion, the hype, and all that, it could fall flat in our face, like similar to the Duffy one where we just thought there's no reason it can't work, and in a sense there's no reason Shevchenko shouldn't work. And if we need like the sort of a quick fix, like you said, I think it's a sensible decision. Simply, it's not. It'll not be somebody Postecoglou maybe knows personally, but he'll know. He'll come into the club and he knows the club, so it's maybe makes Postecoglou's job slightly easier. He can maybe work on different areas, I feel like, and different players. So I think just as a quick fix, it's not the worst thing. And he is only 29, so you will, if it all going well, you would get another sort of a 3 year at least out of him anyway. So personally for me, Stephen, I don't see anything wrong. I understand you're saying you always want to be looking forward, but if a player actually goes away and is successful, it's not the worst to go like we made a mistake here.
I mean, I do understand what you're saying. I mean, Shevchenko, I mean, but one memory sticks out in my mind. Do you remember at Tynecastle he had the scarf on his head and he was doing that weird dance? I don't know what it was. His hips were moving and all that there. That's one memory that sticks out. Obviously, I remember matches he scored against Rangers and things in the cup. But, I mean, Shevchenko for me, as you said, one key thing there for me is he said he wasn't a ball player. Now, if we're led to believe Postecoglou likes to play this high pressing style with ball players at the back, I mean, we've all seen clips that Boys Analytics have put out on Twitter. I mean, good job from them as it was well in depth. But, I mean, again, a quick fix, Francis, I'll come back to this. A quick fix leads to the problem again in 6 or 12 months. So why not? This is meant to be a rebuild. Why not take that opportunity and rebuild?
But it's a quick fix in the sense, for me, maybe quick fix is the wrong term to use, but I was meaning more that on the face of it, he should be able to just come in and slot in, if you like. And yeah, he's not necessarily a ball player, but Julian could be that ball player. I know, like we said, we don't know when he's come back, but Julian could be that ball player, and you have one that's solely defending. You could maybe, he seems the type of guy that you could maybe coach that a wee bit. You're obviously not got to make him brilliant on the ball. I mean, he wasn't rubbish on the ball. It was not like he couldn't play it in that, but if you could just maybe get him coaching, just playing the simple 5-10 yard passes into the midfield, that's all we really need. We're not really Julian. You can leave Julian playing the big diagonals and stuff, like, because he can do that. So it's that's where I'm coming with the quick fix. It on the face of it, he could just slot in and knows what's expected of him. And like I say, it's six months down at 29, 6 months down the line, providing he actually hits the ground running, if you like. You're not got an issue 6 months down the line. You've not got an issue for about another 3 years. Way you could be kind of coaching Stephen Welsh. I know he's obviously Stephen Welsh 24 or something. It's decent age to be
22.
So you could be kind of sort of coaching him a wee bit better, because he's still a wee bit raw and stuff. So it takes a wee bit of pressure maybe off him as well.
I mean, by all accounts, I mean, Shevchenko did buy into the Celtic way of things, and a lot of people say these modern-day players come to the Celtic, especially now, just look for that quick move or literally a payday and then they're away again. But I mean, you always see obviously photos of his kids still in Celtic kits, and when we're playing the cup finals, he's watching them, he's posting on Instagram or Twitter, whatever it may be. But like if you look since he left, we've had like the Boyata, Simonovic, I mean, Julian, Welsh, Ayer. Is he any better, or are we just going backwards? What's your feeling? For me, he's better than Simonovic and Welsh. Easy. Well, Welsh could be better. Well, but Simonovic did, but I think he was better than him. I don't think he was better than Boyata. I know some of the group might disagree with that, but yeah, Boyata's still playing for the Boyata's playing centre half of the Belgian squad, so it's one of them. It can't be that bad. But this is what I don't understand, right? I mean, I put up an Instagram thing about transfer targets since Postecoglou has come in. Now, this all ties in because obviously we're looking to strengthen the squad before the Midtjylland game. I mean, going in with the squad we have now is a bit, I don't know, for me anyway, it'd be disastrous because there's no cohesion there. There's no good togetherness because we've lost already them loan players. So it's kind of dwindled down in terms of what we can actually choose from. Yes, we've got the likes of Turnbull, Christie, but yeah, we've got them players, right? I put up the tweet and the Instagram post about the likes of Matt Ryan, Charlie Wyke, who's the other fella? Ade Onuwu from the Japanese league.
Yeah, and the boy Moy.
The boy Aaron Moy. I mean, does any of them kind of excite you coming in? I mean, lots of people are saying Moy, yes, because we've seen him in the Premier League and by all accounts he looked decent. But what about Matt Ryan, the likes of Ade Onuwu from the Japanese league? I know he scored a hat-trick for Japan there recently in his first start. So what do you think?
I would get excited about. I don't know if excited's the right word, but I like the sound of the boy Matt Ryan, the goalkeeper. He seems fairly solid. I know that kind of might kill any argument I've left for Parkas, but I wouldn't mind that one happen. Personally, I don't know if it will, because I think he's went on record saying he would like to go back to Arsenal, which is a weird one, and I don't think he'll actually get a game there. He's saying he wants to play regular, but he also wants to go back to Arsenal. So I don't know if that will happen. And also, I know obviously Postecoglou was born in Greece, but I think he spent most of his life if not in Australia. So it might actually work for Barkas with him. It might give him a chance. But I obviously don't know much about this Japanese boy. But when you read up on him, by all accounts, and look videos and stuff, you're not going to find many bad videos of the guys. But he looks a player on YouTube. That's all I can really say.
I think by all accounts, Raphael Shiite looked the player and whatever. Tom Barnes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to judge when obviously I've not got access to the Japanese league or whatever. So you just you're looking at videos, and these videos are generally put up with agents or guys associated with these players.
I get what you're saying, and to touch upon Postecoglou, I think he made a great point in terms of he spent most of his working life in Australia, and that could benefit Barkas. And I wasn't on the reaction video with you guys who done it due to family commitments at the time, but what was your feeling towards like the interview you gave? And obviously we've seen Dominic McKay as well, but do you get good vibes of Postecoglou? I think William determined as he's like a warm, cuddly gent.
He looks like he would give a nice cuddle. To be fair.
Yeah, William was like, everything's going to be okay. That's the sort of vibe he's getting off him. But I mean, all well and good. We all thought John Kennedy spoke well. By all accounts, Postecoglou speaks well. But are you confident that maybe by this second qualifier round he might have a structure in place? Or, I mean, how are you feeling?
Well, I mean, I'm warming to the guy. Obviously, it's still a wee bit up in the air, but a lot of that could be down to ignorance. It's not the big name we were expecting. By all accounts, the guy we wanted, he's got a better, as for winning, Postecoglou's got a better record than the guy we all wanted. So,
that's true.
But my issue with Postecoglou is that I keep reading things that he's a Bielsa type. Now, I'm all for a Bielsa type coming in at Celtic, but being at Celtic, you don't get 2-3 years to get that philosophy in, and my worry is if he needs, I don't think you get a Bielsa team in 6 months.
No.
And I think that could be an issue for him.
I mean, he has said previously that it sometimes takes 6 to 12 months to even bed in his stay, not even try and get it on the pitch, but even the training methods take that long to get used to. And I've seen, I mean, this may trigger some people. I know we're going to do our Scotland reaction podcast tomorrow, but that Marshall, when he got chipped by your man Shelk or something from Czech Republic, I've seen his teams on YouTube clips concede them exact same goals because, as you said, he's a Bielsa type manager and he likes that high press and where your everyday players in the opposing half. And I mean that's a scary prospect to see Barkas being chipped from the halfway line, even if the confidence is as low as it is at the minute.
I know, but I think it's different. Like Scotland don't play the high press, if you like, whereas it's a wee bit different if you're actually playing that. And Marshall is not a ball playing goalkeeper, so if you've got the type of players in like your obviously we're never going to have like your Allisons or Edisons or Manuel Neuers, but there's a reason they get away with being so high up the park. So it's just that I wouldn't be too concerned if it's one of the ones that we don't want Postecoglou coming in and having to adapt to something. You want him to do is we want changing. So we're going to have to just go with it and hope for the best, really.
Strap our seatbelts in and enjoy the rides. That's what we're going to have to do. And coming to we're obviously close to the time when we're doing the podcast around about that match in terms of score predictions and stuff. And early gut feeling. I mean, just be honest. How you feeling the tie's going to go in Celtic's way or Midtjylland's way? I said to you guys, I mean, 1 or 2 goals could be potentially deciding this fixture. I mean, it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it'll be tight because it's early on in both seasons. Because the Danish league, thankfully, kind of runs similar sort of time to us. It's like September to May, so at least you're not playing a team that's maybe 5+ games into their season, which sometimes we're doing. We're like almost pre-season, I feel like, and they're well in it. Some of the players have made 10 games in that if they consider pre-season. So I think I'm glad the first game is at home, just to maybe give us a foundation. Normally you like playing obviously away from home and just try not necessarily stay in the tie, but get a decent result where you can go and chase the second leg. But I'm happy it's at home the first leg. But the big thing it's over a month away, the fixture, is it? So it's we don't know where we're going to be. That's the problem right now. We don't know where we are with players, who's there and who's not going to be there. So and how soon does Postecoglou manage to get his guys in? Because if he only gets them in by like a week or two, it's one of them. You're back to the whole gambling on the qualifiers again.
It's almost like they're in the period of downsizing as well. They've made it quite obvious that that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And another prospect as well because of the game. I mean, I seen the game last night in Budapest, Hungary. Seeing his full stadium again. It was absolutely fantastic. And yet again, going forward into the qualifying round, we'll be lucky to see 500 Celtic fans there. I mean, I don't get it at all, and I don't want to get all political about it, but surely there has to be a gateway for fans to get back in this season.
There has to be. I know, like to kind of touch on when the league fixtures came out, when we were playing at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, it just told me that fans aren't returning to a football game, or the majority of fans aren't returning to a football game anytime soon when you're getting your 8 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday night again. But yeah, I like I say, I don't want to get too political, but and I'm not an anti-vaxxer, I'm not like all that carry on, but I don't see why, if the majority of the population has at least had their first dose and we're going to get vaccinated, we can't just constantly be living with lockdowns and isolations with this virus. If the vaccine works, then we've got to get back to normality.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100%. I mean, I spent the most of the last night, instead of watching the match, I was watching the crowd in the Budapest and the Hungary game. Do you know what I mean? It was
even
brilliant
like
to see.
The restricted fans you're getting in there now, they're making plenty of noise, and it's good to see. It's a promising light, hopefully.
Well, hopefully the SPFL takes some note of what they're saying at the European Championships. And before we go here, Francis, I know we spoke about it a wee minute ago, but give me an early prediction, an early score, at least for the home tie. What you thinking?
I'll be positive and go. I'll go a 2-0. Be positive. And go 2-0.
I'll go 2-0 as well. I'm not even going to ask you goal scorers predictions because again, we could have the whole Australian national team as our front four. We don't know what's going to happen. A couple of Japanese folk. I mean, they might improve the squad. Who knows? But obviously, until that fixture, we compete in it. We don't know what the team's going to look like, so we can't really do our score predictions. But I mean, Francis, in terms of our reaction, that's us all finished. Have you enjoyed this one?
Yeah, it was good. It's good.
Yeah, it was good. And to all the listeners, I know this week's it's been a bit weird in terms of the End of Celts podcast. We didn't have our usual Celtic podcast on Tuesday. As again, I explained on Twitter, most of my panel were hanging. We're after the Scotland game, and to replace it, we put out the Jack Aitchison interview. It's fantastic. For anyone who hasn't listened to it, go and give it a wee click. It's only 45 minutes long, and you'll really enjoy it. There's some fascinating insight from Celtic's youngest ever goal scorer from Fauldhouse. Most of the panel and then the Celts is from Fauldhouse. So big shout out to you guys. And again, tomorrow we'll be doing our Scotland podcast, our Euro edition number 2, and that will be focusing on the game we just seen in terms of the loss against Czech Republic. I'll be on that show, but Anthony Dunn, our regular poet from the podcast, he'll be hosting it. So good luck to him, and we'll be speaking again about the England game coming up. So To everyone who's listening, until next time we speak, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.